So there's your microphone.
Oh, cool.
I'll have you just go ahead and talk into it just like this.
Sweet. Hello.
We are live, finally.
All right, let's ride.
So you are my second guest. This is episode 2 of Unmasked. First, why don't you introduce yourself a little bit?
Yeah, hey everybody, I'm Gaun, and I've been unmasked here with Alex. Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, of course. So, obviously, I see the City Boys LLC. Is that your brand?
Yes, this is my small production company that I've made as just my vehicle to...
Go ahead and put the microphone a little closer to your face.
Yeah, for sure. This is like just my creative vehicle LLC to, get everything that's in my head out, honestly. I've been involved with film for a few years now, and I've just, the biggest advice I've gotten from anyone and everyone is just like, go out there and film something.
Yeah.
And I needed something to kind of put it all behind, and that's City Boys. So whatever it turns out to be, if it turns out to be a brand or, production company, then I'm all about it. Just going to see where this ball rolls,
Okay. Go ahead and try to hold it a little bit closer to your mouth.
Yeah, for sure.
That microphone, it's not the best one.
Does this sound good? Can I ASMR?
So I know, turn this into an ASMR channel. So what kind of stuff do you guys film then?
Yeah, so right now we're doing mainly small films centering around like 10 to 30 minutes. I just wrapped my first full solo project. It's called Skinwalker. It's a short horror film we filmed up in Sholo, up north. Pretty much just had 3 actors. One of them was my girlfriend, and it was something we wrote after all meeting and went out there, ripped it, and put a lot of time and effort into the post-production editing, and really happy with what we walked away with. So sort of things like that, where we just get a whole bunch of creatives together and a little bit of backwards filmmaking. We look at the resources we have available and then go from there. What's the best thing we can make with this location, these actors, these resources we have, and not try to, shoot too high where something doesn't ever get made. Because a lot of people sit on scripts for years and years.
Oh my gosh.
I'm one of them. I have some that I'm like, damn, I would need a blank check for this.
But I've sit on so many scripts I still sit on scripts right now that I wrote like 3 years ago, and like I wrote like a little tiny synopsis for it.
Yeah.
But I never actually did anything with it. It's so hard to get it to go from like something on paper to something actually physically going. I commend anybody that's able to.
Well, thanks, man. Yeah, I think the backwards storytelling in filmmaking really works because I think in terms of scale, if you keep the story true, the themes, the thing you want to tell the audience, you can scale it up or down given production costs. And so I think that's the case with a lot of Hollywood movies too. It's just a matter of how big the sets and how big name the actors and everything. If you have a story, you can scale it down, do it yourself, and that's what I've heard from all those screenwriter tips videos and everything like that. They're always just like, go out and do it yourself. Easier said than done, but honestly, it's been working for me, and that's what I want to keep doing, build a name for myself, and get bigger and better.
Yeah, I know that there was you obviously know Matthew McConaughey. His Dallas Buyers Club. I saw the interview with him, and I think they were sitting on that script for like 20 years.
Oh my gosh, there's been some that, they say production hell. It can be any number of things from just, writer's block, creative halts, or, not finding the right people. I have a good quote from Aaron Sorkin. I did like a little masterclass of his on Masterclass, which was hype. It's on screenwriting. He said 90% of being a writer is agony. You're not writing at all. You're just sitting there in pain. And
I love that.
I mean, if you write, get ready to be in pain. But it is rewarding, and if you have fun doing it, like, do it. Just get it out there.
Heck yeah! I know it's one of the hardest things though to be a writer. Like for me, I'm on the other side. I'm an actor, but so many actors are also writers and stuff, and trying to come up with something that's original, something that's eye captivating. Like, anybody can write a story, but trying to make it to where it appeals to the audience, trying to make climax, trying to make emotional tugs, trying to figure out just everything behind it. It's a very difficult field.
It is. There's so many moving parts. There's so many things that go into it, and it's a craft that, you go down the rabbit hole, you're going to be lost for a few years. But I mean, that's the fun part too. Yeah.
Right. So tell me where the name City Boys comes from.
City Boys came from my roommate and I just messing around. I think I had like an existential crisis one day at my finance job that I was working, and I'm like, I can't do this forever. Like, I looked around at my peers and the people above me at my job, and I'm like, I don't want to be like you guys. No offense, but I don't want to be like you guys. I can't do that. That's not for me. And that was when like all the City Boys memes were going around, and they were hilarious. They were so fun. We looked it up, and the City Boys name was just open. And
Really?
I mean, me and him were City Boys. So
It's not a name I thought would be open. Like it's.
I know, right? Yeah, we
like,
nailed down City Boys LLC, and I'm like, okay, like that's mine,
Yeah.
and it'll look great on merch. So
It's
yeah.
like one of those like perfect names that like you wouldn't think it's available. It's something
Right.
that's like,
Yeah.
how is something like that available?
My buddy Ravi, actually, he took the license plate before we made it. He hopped on it so fast, and he put a license plate on his car that said City Boys, and I'm still jealous of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I always forget like you can only have one license. Like obviously not.
I know.
people can have the
Yeah.
same
I'm
license
the
plate.
LLC was open, but the license plate wasn't. So
Yeah, my girlfriend did Kachow from
Yeah.
Cars.
I think that might be a Scottsdale thing. Everyone here has a fun license plate. I need to
Yeah.
get on that train.
Heck yeah. So what made you guys choose Sholo to film it at?
So my girlfriend Haley, she has a cabin up there. Well, it's her parents, and it just had a great location. We went outside and we're like, "Holy crap, this is creepy!" Like, we found this little abandoned like tree house, like a little ways outside of her backyard, and we're like, "Yo, this looks like some witchcraft," and perfect place to film. A lot of it was winging it. Like, I wrote Skinwalker in a couple of weeks. It was only about 10, 15 pages. And the actual film itself is 12 minutes. So ran through that script, got a couple actors. We filmed it in one night. So we went out to her cabin, stayed the night out there. We filmed from probably like 6 p.m. to like 3 a.m. though. We were up till the coyotes were screaming at us. And, again, it was just taking what we had. Like, I had in my mind, oh, shoot, that location. I remember going there with my girlfriend, and like we could do something there.
Right.
And then made it happen.
So where did the idea for this movie come from?
Shoot, I don't know. I think it really came from there was a Halloween challenge, a Halloween film challenge last year of 2022, and I wanted to do it really bad, but I knew like there was absolutely no way. But I still shot for it. Like, I met my actors Fernando and Drew at this networking event in September. I wrote it early October, and then we filmed it in like mid-November after
Really?
everything was ready. So we
Oh, this is like a shotgun type of thing.
we met. I wrote it. We were ready. Boom, and then post-production took a while, but
That is too cool.
yeah, we just wanted to do something.
Yeah.
Like I talked with them, and a ton of actors out here are looking for ways to showcase themselves, and
Guilty.
looking for something fun.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it was a ton of fun, and then we'd walk away with something cool. I mean, it was pretty easy convincing them.
Yeah. So is
Yeah.
it a horror then?
Yeah, it's a short horror thriller about two cowboys looking for the disappeared townsfolk, and they're out in the woods searching, finding like these like animal markings. They find the dead bodies, and they suspect like they're being hunted by a skinwalker spirit.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. That is definitely not something that I would have even come up with, or I could see someone else coming up with. So
Thanks. I think actually I read some of those. Oh man, they're so creepy. These Reddit like state park stories from the park rangers. They got some creepy stuff. Like,
Really?
holy crap. Yeah, if you look this up, there's like all these cases of like missing people in the woods of like these great national parks, and like I think it probably stemmed from one of those. But oh my god, in the woods, like you have so much content. Like, yeah.
I know. Yeah. Where I was from, there's woods all around. So anything we wanted to do in the woods, we had like free range pretty much for anything like that we wanted to do. So you said you have a finance background?
Yes, I graduated the University of Arizona in 2021
Okay.
with a degree in finance and entrepreneurship.
Gotcha. So how did you transition from going to finance to filmmaking?
Yeah, great question. So in college, I was actually like indirectly involved with a lot of film people. One of my roommates was in film, and I just like assisted on a bunch of his projects. And honestly, it kind of like flipped a switch in me a little bit. Both my parents come from a film background. My dad was a cameraman way back in the day. He worked on a lot of interesting projects. He did Revenge of the Nerds. That was at
Revenge of the Nerds.
Yep, at the U of A. He worked on Drive. He worked on Little House on the Prairie.
Really?
Yeah, a bunch of stuff. He was getting out there making a name for himself. And my mom was an actress. She was out there, trying to do the same thing.
Okay, so cameraman meets actor then.
Right, that's how they met, and then they put it in my blood, and I can't get it out.
So then why did you choose finance?
I do have an inclination for business. I love, the inner workings of business process. Honestly, that's why I went into consulting. I wanted to be a, cool business guy, go travel. Yeah. I really wanted to travel. I really wanted to, get out there, see what's making the world run. Right. And then surprise COVID happened, didn't go anywhere, sat my ass down. But
yeah.
But yeah, no, I felt that business was the right way to go. Traditionally in college, right. I'm like, need a job, make money.
Safe degree.
And they do twist it in the business colleges, like they make it seem so freaking cool, and like the corporate life, like they really do, like they get your ass. And I was doing all these film projects on the side with my buddies, and I'm like, damn, this could be cool. So I originally had the idea of going into business consulting. During all that travel time, I'm going to meet people, learn about how to run a business.
Right.
And then I was like, I'm going to screenwrite on the side and then see if I could eventually get into like, producing, crunching the numbers behind film.
Okay.
Sort of that back aspect. And then I started actually writing, and then I started actually directing, and I was like, ooh, this is cool. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's funny that you mentioned how like traditional school kind of hypes up finance in a different way. Like I come from a finance background as well. I've been running businesses for I don't even know how long. I've ran multiple different businesses, and I used to work for the banks, and obviously I didn't have I wasn't a financial advisor or anything. I did that kind of stuff on my own, but regular finance stuff like banker, teller, loan originator, that kind of stuff. That's what I did. But there's a couple things that you were saying, like, oh wow, because like even when I was working in finance, I would look around and be like, there's no way in hell I'm going to be this person for the rest of my goddamn life.
Yeah, I mean, some people are, and credit to them, but like, oh my gosh, some of them, like, trust me, I have tons of friends in finance, investment banking, wealth management, and all that, and they
like you can get pretty decent money. Like
they get great money. Oh yeah, they make great money. They're it comes at a cost, and if you're willing to pay that, but honestly, like most people in those jobs, like I know they have some sort of other outlet. Like there's something else that fulfills them. You know what I mean?
There's a reason why Wall Street is known for coke.
Pretty rare that's the only thing fulfilling you.
Yeah.
But shout out to those boys. Like they're sharp as knives. Like I'm not sure if I could do investment banking. Honestly, I'm not. I don't know if I'm that inclined.
Yeah. No, I was talking to one guy. He actually is like a financial advisor / like investment person, and he was saying like the first 10 years you're gonna be overworked, underpaid. The next 10 years you're gonna be right about the same, and then the next 10 years after that you're gonna be overpaid and underworked. And I'm like, do I really want to wait 30 years to actually be able to live my life the way I want to, though? With
financial advising, too, it's all about building your book, and, who knows how long that can take. There's a stereotype of the finance bro whose dad, hands him a golden book, and, that's true. And if you can do that, do it. Play your card you're dealt. No hate towards it, honestly. Yeah. Shit, if my dad was some hotshot financial advisor, I'd be like, yo, hook me up, bro. Honestly. But it does take a lot of time, especially in all aspects of finance, probably besides investment banking or private equity, if you can get into that.
Yeah.
But then it's going to cost you 80-hour weeks, 100-hour weeks, where that's all you're doing.
Even a lot of these creative, in the industry that we're in, you still pull those long hours. The first film that I did, I was on set 3 days in a row, 12, 14 hours a day. But I could do that for this type of career. I couldn't do anything like that for financing.
Dude, I don't know. My job, I work from home, and I, sit in front of a computer screen all day.
Really?
And I'm a consultant, but I I kind of barely travel now. I mean,
Yeah.
COVID and everything, but film does have those hours. Like it does. Like I've rarely, like my girlfriend hates me for it. She's always like, "Oh, you got a film thing? Like, what's the time you're expected to be done, and then what's the time you're actually going to be done?"
Yeah.
Like it is.
Yeah.
You are always going over like no questions asked.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, no, it's definitely it's one of those things that like you can't have a predicted schedule. Like you
Yeah.
can have like an estimated thing, but I don't think I've ever been on a production set to where we are actually on time.
Yeah.
Or we're completely like, oh, we still have like 10 shots to get, so we're gonna be here for another like 3 hours.
And it is what you said though. Like I would much rather be there doing that
Yeah.
than burning my eyes out at home just in Excel.
So are you trying to grow your career then in consulting, or are you trying to just use that as a day job until the film stuff takes off?
So right now, I mean, I like my job. Like I can't complain by any means. Like I'm treated extremely well. I'm paid well. Great hours. So it is, very, like the right word defined. I cannot talk bad about it
Yeah.
because I am very fortunate to have what I have. I'm very
Right.
blessed, I feel. But it isn't my passion. I know that for sure.
Right.
I believe film is. I feel it in my blood. This is what I want to do. I want to write and direct and make cool stuff for people to watch. So it eventually will be the thing that needs to be left behind.
Uh-huh.
Definitely not trying to go the 20-year partner route. That's for some. It's not for me.
Yeah.
I'd rather do the 20-year director route and see where that takes me. I think that would be a lot more fulfilling to my side. But I do. I very fortunate to have my day job. It has allowed me to do a lot of cool stuff, and it has allowed me to fuel this film passion. It pays the bills. It networks me. It allows me to travel, and so I think finding something like that can be just as, if not as important as chasing your dreams, finding the means to do it. Like, honestly, it's tough, but it's a lot more tough when you're broke.
Yeah.
And it comes down to, the discipline and however many hours you can put in. If you take a job that pays you well, but it exhausts you, try to find something that maybe pays you a little bit less, but doesn't exhaust you that much so you can chase your passion. There's a balance, and it's tight, but you got to find it.
That's literally what I ended up doing, because I was working for the banks. I was making probably around $20 an hour, which kind of sounds like a lot, but at the same time, it's definitely not a lot. Like my paychecks coming home bi-weekly were like $1,200. I wasn't able to afford hardly anything, but yes, I technically had the safety net of that secure income.
Right.
But my depression, my anxiety, everything, my mental health was the worst it has ever been. Having the same repeat type of thing, like I was like, I couldn't do this. Even if you pay me $30, $40, $50 an hour to do this shit, I couldn't do it.
Yeah,
it's just not feasible for
me. The golden handcuffs, they get you. It's
like, we can pay you 6 figures, but you have to put in 10 figures worth of work.
And it's the promise of just do this for a couple years, and then and then you'll be making big bucks. But like, who are you going to be in a couple years? Like, you're going to change, and hopefully you do.
And that's the whole thing with like finances and money. It's like you were saying, like, yes, you can have all the money, but what's the use of the money if you can't enjoy it? If you can't do something with it, like money. Yeah. I've been taught that money is not a goal. Money is not something to work for. It's something to work with. It's something that you need to use as a tool.
Right. And money is a tool in the end. It's supposed to make your life easier, better, and supposed to, your role as a human being, your role in society, you're supposed to use that money to spend it.
Right.
And to keep this machine turning. Like, that's just the way the world works. And I've heard a lot of, advice. I used to be a lot more money oriented, I think. I used to really, look at jobs solely based on money. Didn't look at anything else. I was like, okay, what's the salary? 60, 80? Like, I don't care about anything else. Yeah. Now, I've listened to a lot of people that are older, and my dad probably said this, do what you love and the money will follow.
Yeah.
And be good at what you love. I think Barbara from Shark Tank, she said that. She was like, find something you do very well, train at it, be very, very good at it, and then you're gonna be surprised because money's gonna come in.
Yeah.
It's.
So I don't know if you're comfortable with answering this, but
Sure.
in your career field, what's about your salary?
Yeah, so I think out of college, I started around 65, going into, I think the right consulting term would be internal audit enterprise risk. I was Big Four, so that was you're pipelined into that, majoring in finance or accounting. They want you to go Big Four. They want you to, get a big name on your resume. But ooh, that was an experience. I did that for about 13 months, and then moved to my other job at a slightly smaller financial service firm.
Okay.
Doing exactly the same thing, but I got a 23% bump to like 85, plus like some yearly bonuses I make. So that's what I make right now.
Okay.
And it's about a 2-year trek to your senior promotion. Typically in consulting, if I'd stayed at KPMG, I'd be making the same $60K like until that 2-year bump. And the way the market is now, like being a job hopper, that's it. Like they pay you so much more to start new at a new company than to keep you around. It sucks, but
that is that whole job loyalty thing that always pissed me the hell off, because a lot of people are like, oh, especially with our generation or our age group.
Loyalty's dead. I'm saying it right now. City boys.
It is not a thing. I'm sorry. Having loyalty to a job is the stupidest thing
it holds
ever.
you back so much now. It's unbelievable. But your grandparents will light you on fire for saying that.
Like, I remember I saw a post on Facebook, I think, of this guy that was celebrating 80 years at the same company. And I'm like, why the hell would you celebrate something like that? Because, I mean, like, for me, obviously everyone's different. There's some people that really want to take that 9-to-5 route. Some people that want to work for a company, be loyal to that company, completely just live.
Yeah, and they want that security. They want that safety. And, can't really blame them for that. Is it for everyone? No.
But at the same time, because obviously for me, I'm more of an entrepreneur spirit. I've always been the kind of person, I prefer working for myself rather than for corporations. That's just me, though. Yeah. Even for someone, though, that craved that kind of security in the job market, I just don't see how you could stay at the same place and not even explore your options. Because I'm sure that, like, if you're working for one financial firm, like you said, that first financial firm is going to pay you this much, but then the second you move over to this other financial firm, they're getting double. People or companies are getting so much more competitive with their pricing, and that's how you bump up in the scale.
And it's becoming a lot more transparent, honestly. Yeah. I think Colorado and California both pass laws that companies have to display their salary for the positions that they're hiring for now. And it's causing a lot of just, conversations on the internet about, hey, like, that was actually something I found out at the Big Four. They were paying these interns coming in after college way more than what they were paying us that had a year under our belts. And they thought they could get away with it because we wouldn't find out. And then we go on Fishbowl one day and we're like, what the hell is this?
Yeah.
Like, you're paying these interns what?
I will always say that I hate the voodoo, or whatever the term is, behind not discussing finances, keeping like I kind of understand of like, oh, I don't want to disclose how much I make or how much this is. I think that's the most bullshit thing ever in the world, though.
I think it can be a pretty prideful thing for a lot of people to talk about, but it's a very old concept. Yeah, I agree with you.
I don't give a shit if you know how much I make as a barista or how much I make as this.
Right.
I mean, some, like, obviously upper people might not want to disclose too much in public for security reasons and stuff. But I mean, just like regular blue collar people.
Right. It can be a personal preference for some people, and I can get that.
Yeah.
But I mean, for me, I like being transparent with people. So
yeah. Especially in the job thing. When I'm talking to coworkers and stuff, I hate the fact that they literally tell you you're fired if you discuss your salaries with other people.
Yeah. It's because at my new job, I'm definitely the youngest.
Yeah.
And I have a slightly more senior role than a lot of my other coworkers that are significantly older than me.
Yeah.
There's a few that are like in their mid-30s.
Right.
So I am hesitant to bring up my salary with them because if I say I'm like, 10K over or something and they're 10 years older than me, they're going to be like, what the fuck? I mean, I would totally be like that. I'd be like, what the hell? Like, immediately bring it up. That's why companies do encourage you to shut your mouth.
I know, but it's a scam.
It's going to cause infighting, and it shouldn't be like that. No, it shouldn't. Like,
and it's literally like that because of the fact they do pay you more and they don't want to pay these other guys more. And it's
also counter argument. Yeah, it does hurt the negotiations with your salary if they are super transparent about that.
Yeah.
Say you're working at a company, you're paid 70, everyone at your level is paid 70. They need to hire someone, and they're in talks to negotiate their salary. It gives new people like no negotiating room, or else you got to raise everybody. You know what I mean? If you pay them more,
argument.
Yeah.
So in that kind of case, though, that's why it does depend on experience level. It depends on education. Like for me, when I was in the finance industry, I was one of the lowest paid employees there, even though I had 4 years of prior experience. I don't have a degree, but nobody at my level had a degree. We were pretty much all just out of high school. For me, I had just been in the field for a while, but for us, we did discuss a little bit of our salaries and stuff just because we were curious and just because we didn't really give a crap. We're like, yeah, you know what? Screw it. I don't care how much I make or whatever. And that was what pissed me off because I was like, I didn't immediately go to like, how dare you get paid more than me? The first thing I said is, okay, well, what experience do you have?
Right.
What education do you have? And that's when
I think that's the mindset you have to have or you're going to get pissed off. Yeah, for sure.
And that was what pissed me off even more is the fact of I had more experience than what they had. They were paid higher. Obviously, with another firm, if one company is paying $70,000 a year and other companies are paying $70,000 a year for entry level, yeah, some person might get $75,000 if they have 5 years of experience or doing that. But that's like you do have to kind of talk to people. It can come down to the soft skills too. If you're just a smooth talker, you show off your skills in the best way to your recruiter and have the same level of experience with a couple other guys, you can edge your way to a higher salary, like 100%. All about how you present yourself. So it is tricky, but it's becoming a lot more transparent, and I think that's a good thing for the most part. Especially, I love how transparent it's becoming for things like YouTubers. Because I remember when I first got on YouTube, when I was way younger, I remember they had a specific thing, like when I was first monetizing my channel, they were like, you're not allowed to disclose what we pay you in here. And I'm like, really? Wow. Are you serious? Why? If I want to talk about how much I make, I should be able to talk about how much I make. And it was literally like, that's interesting. I haven't heard that. Yeah. But now, obviously, that's not a thing. There's so many, especially finance YouTubers and stuff, that are disclosing exactly how much they make. Yeah, and they're making a ton. Oh my gosh, they are making. I've watched money. A bunch. I think shout out Nate O'Brien. I watch that dude a lot. Yeah. So you're at this level. I'm curious about your life growing up. Though, like, did you come from money at all, or did you? Ooh, yeah, sure. Honestly, yeah, not a subject I talk about too much because it's pretty boring. Like, I come from Sierra Vista, Arizona, which is small town, southern Arizona, south of Tucson, pretty close to the border. I wouldn't say I was poor, but definitely, lower middle class. Okay. I didn't really know the concept of. I was very isolated in this small town. Like, there was not a lot of the outside world. It was strange. One high school. One major high school, and then I didn't get out much. Really? I remember going to Tucson for the first time. I think I was like a sophomore in high school, and I was like, "Holy crap, the city is huge! Like, this is incredible! Like, what in the hell?" And then I went on a couple trips to San Diego with my parents, and I was like, "Oh man, there's a whole other world out here." I love my parents, but I think they are a little bit introverted and like to stay at home, and there was nothing to do in my small town. I played video games, I did my sports in high school, and grew up pretty
I don't want to say isolated, but pretty unknowing of the outside world. And that led me to, right after high school, I enlisted in the Marine Corps. And
Really?
yeah, I enlisted the second I could get, and I shot out of my hometown immediately, went to boot camp, and then I was gone for about a year in between high school and college. And then I did the reserves for 6 years. 6 years, and I went to college at the same time. And this was also a way for me to pay for college too.
Yeah.
I couldn't go out of state, didn't have the money for that. My parents didn't. So I knew I had to go in state, University of Arizona, shot for all these scholarships, did the Marine Corps, which reserves gives you a little bit every month, a few $100. It's not, if you do 4 years, they pay for your whole college, but reserves helped. And I got to go to U of A, and I figured out a way to do it and leave debt-free, which is something I'm proud about, which is cool. I can walk away with a double degree.
I had no idea that you listed in the Marines.
Oh, really? No way.
Yeah. Wait, how old are you?
I'm 25.
Okay, so yeah, we're about the same age then.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because I was actually supposed to enlist in the Navy with my best friend just out of high school.
Oh, wait, I think I met him. You told me about him a little while ago. He's a Navy. He's not a corpsman, but he's.
No. So he was. So he.
I think we talked about that a long time ago, but
possibly.
But yeah,
it was a friend of mine. We were supposed to go together, and I couldn't go because I have severe asthma, and I couldn't get that pass. But then he ended up going to boot camp. But then, just before graduating boot camp, he fractured his leg.
Oh, no shit.
And so he wasn't able to graduate boot camp because obviously you can't really graduate with a broken leg.
They'll get you on a lot now. Like, shoot, they'll get you on your eyesight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, okay, so it was Marines, and then they helped pay for your school.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, that's kind of a whole. I could go down the rabbit hole on those stories with the Marine Corps, but that is that is another side of my life that I kind of I get involved in a lot of stuff. I have severe ADHD. I'm like, ooh, I love finance. Ooh, I want film. I joined the Marine Corps. Did this, and I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah.
Like, you stop committing to these new things.
I'm the same way. I
hyperfixate.
New business plan every other week.
I know, dude. New
it's bad. Project every month.
It's so bad.
Okay, so I was gonna ask something. Shoot.
Yeah.
So it was Marines,
mm-hmm.
and then how did you gain? Like, did your parents teach you a lot about money growing up?
Yeah, like they taught me a lot of good like principles to have. I think I had a allowance of like $100 a month, and geez, back then, like, I went to high school in like 2012, like. $100 get you a little while.
Oh yeah, that'll get you something.
And my small town, like there was no mall, there was no like, there was nothing to do, and I couldn't go to the bars. I mean, there was no bars. There was a Texas Roadhouse. There was an IHOP. So I'd drop like $10-15 on IHOP every now and then. That was like me splurging. But they taught me about saving. They taught me about kind of just the basics of budget building too.
Okay.
They were like, okay, if you want this thing, think about how long it'll take to save it, or think about how you can afford it later. And I think you can apply that in the long run. I remember my very first job. I did a plumbing gig for a summer. My girlfriend at the time, her dad was a plumber.
Okay.
And yeah, I like shadowed them for a summer. It was so bad. What
was bad about it?
We ripped apart a Wendy's, and I haven't eaten Wendy's since then. We totally destroyed the floor with jackhammers, got into the sewage pipes, and I remember they told me the pipe was like a C, an upside down C.
Yeah.
It had corroded the bottom through the steel pipe and had been sinking into the soil for the past like 10 years. And we had to like just tear down this Wendy's pretty much, and the smell. I still remember it. Like, it was terrible. But I think I made $1,000 for one summer, and that was more money than oh my God. I think I was like 16, and oh my gosh, I bought that new iPod 5, the one with the little dial.
Yeah.
Or no, it was the first touchscreen one, I think.
Oh, the iPod Touch?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was like $300, and I remember that was the biggest purchase I ever made, and I wanted to throw up. I was like, oh my God, $300.
Bro, I'm the same. Even now, I have such a hard time justifying big purchases. Like, even if I have technically money for it, I don't shop at all.
I know. I'm looking to get a new film camera right now so I can, start filming more things. And the one I'm looking at right now is like $2,500, and it makes me want to scream every time I think about it.
What are you trying to go for?
The Sony Alpha 7 IV.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
that's what my buddy Jeremy, who filmed Skinwalker, that's what he shot it with, and I put my hands on it, and I was like, oh my God, I love this thing. Like, this is sexy. Yeah.
Heck yeah.
So I might need to just pull the trigger on that. I've saved up, but that is something I did learn from my parents, just the concept of, checking your spending habits, because it's emotional. Yeah. Spending is an emotional thing.
Like, 100%.
Yeah. You can get it.
You learn in marketing.
You can get excited. Everyone gets those spending moods. I get those all the time. I'm like, fuck, I want to spend some money. Like, especially at the bars. But, but yeah, checking those habits and then, saving and knowing what you're saving for can take you a long way.
Yeah. So what do your spending habits look like now?
I still drop a few hundred at the bars every weekend, but, I graduated debt free, which was awesome. And it was due to a lot of, being, I think, other than senior year, I decided to pop off and spend like a ton of money. Like, I had the year I was in the Marine Corps, active duty in between high school and college. I was doing all my trainings, boot camp, MCT, my job school. I was getting paid about every 2 weeks, the like E1 private pay, which was not a lot. I think it was like $800 every 2 weeks, which is good when you don't have any bills at all.
Yeah, I was gonna say
that. I didn't pay for food. I didn't pay for,
because you don't have rent, you don't have groceries.
I didn't have a car. I didn't pay rent.
It's almost all the spending money, or not spending. But
I was pretty much a slave, and I was in the Marine Corps. Okay, but I didn't pay for anything, so like I would forget I was being paid. It would just go into my bank account, and like I didn't have that concept of a paycheck yet because I was in military mode.
Right.
Then when I got to college and they started stopping, I was getting my once a month, like, I think it was like $350, $400 a month from the Marines. So that's it.
Okay.
And I remember, oh my God, my rent freshman year was $400. Yeah, oh my God. I had a 3x2 house with two buddies my freshman year of college, and it was $400. I remember it because I went to the ATM and I would pull out $400, and I was like, this is so much money. Now I want to shoot myself.
Oh, I know.
Oh my God.
I remember when I lived with an ex of mine, and rent was like $200 or $300, and now I look back and I'm like, bro.
Yeah.
I wish.
Yeah. Oh my God. But that was good. Coming out of that, really learned how to, spend wisely, save up, because college was college. Like, there would be, I paid for food and everything. Mm-hmm. But I discovered those scholarship websites, which if you're in college, do them.
What's the
Especially
website?
If there's AI now and you can write freaking scholarship essays with AI. Do that shit right now. I maybe got like 10K in scholarships the whole time I was there. And U of A was about, I think in-state tuition was about $12K a year. So $6K a semester. Oh my God, I joined a frat, which was so freaking expensive. Like, they totally screwed me on that, but that's another story how I paid for that. But yeah, the in-state tuition and then the Marine Corps, saving during that year, being smart, like, got it done.
Yeah. So I have to ask, you said that you were in a frat. Was the frat worth it?
Oh, hell yeah. 100%.
Really?
Oh, my God.
What makes a frat worth it? I never actually went to college.
Oh, man, dude. Like, I just remember being in that year of the Marine Corps, like I was in North Carolina and I was miserable. I was in my job school. I was a mechanic, so I was, working on the Humvees and M70s and all that. I was just thinking to myself, like, oh my God, I'm gonna be at college one day. I'm gonna like be walking down the streets. It's gonna be beautiful. I'm gonna join a frat. I'd watched all those movies. I had myself up. I'm like, screw it, I'm joining a frat. Like, why not? And like I did the rush, and like there is a lot of like just bullshit around, rushing and.
Did you have to get hazed?
Oh yeah, I got hazed.
Yeah.
Oh hell yeah.
What was your haze?
Oh geez, I was hazed for like the first semester. I was there. Now I can't say the name of the frat because because I said I got hazed.
What did they do to you though?
It wasn't that bad. It was not that bad. Just a lot of yelling at you and shit. And I mean, I was fresh out of the Marine Corps. I didn't give a fuck. I was like,
oh yeah, the yelling is nothing.
These 19-year-old kids like yelling in my face. Like, no, I was completely unfazed, and it was also fun. Like, I had a fun time pledging. Like, we had to cleaning up mountains of throw up and beer cans, and it was disgusting, and that part was kind of beat. But oh my God, dude, the parties and especially at U of A. I mean, God bless. Like now, like I think it's gone down, but whoa, when I was there, whoa, and shoot, dude, I heard stories of what they did in like the '90s and like what our parents did. Like, there's no wonder there's so many laws now. Like,
so does it still help you out today, being from when you were in a fraternity? Does it still like show its benefits today?
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm friends with a lot of my frat brothers, like a lot of them, and I have a couple that do film now in LA, and like
really?
we still talk all the time, and we hope to collaborate in the future. I mean, yeah, no, joining a frat was amazing. Like, you pretty much just immediately get like 100, 200 boys.
Yeah.
And you're not gonna like all of them, of course, but no, you pick a few that you do like, and you walk away with some best friends. And it is kind of like a social circle thing. You're in a frat, you're going to meet other people in the frats, and then you're going to meet the girls, and like that's a whole other thing. But
so, other than like the social aspect and networking, is there any other spectacular things about being in a fraternity? Because obviously, like, I know that when you're joining it, you're joining a brotherhood, or when you're joining a sorority, you're joining a sisterhood. You pay for, like, from an outside perspective, obviously, I never went to university, so I've never had the opportunity to get into a frat or anything like that. From an outside perspective, it just seems like you're paying for friends almost. In a way.
Yeah. I mean, you are, but but it's worth it. Like, it is. Like, it's.
What makes it worth it though?
So, you go in there, you rush, and like, if you think about an organization that's run by just a bunch of 19-year-old kids out of college, and they're given all this money from alumni from years and years ago, and you give them a house, like, what are they going to do with it? They're going to freaking party. And like, college is a formative experience. You're supposed to find yourself. You're supposed to, or at least try. Yeah. You're supposed to experiment, and you're supposed to meet people. And what better way than joining a frat? You meet a ton of people. You have fun while you're doing it. It's completely worth it. Join a frat. Yeah, if you're thinking about it, do it. And there's levels to it, because no two frats are the same. Sure. Some party way more than others. Some have way different goals. Like, there's academic ones, there's social ones. I was in two frats, actually. I was in a frat, and then I was in a co-ed business fraternity. So the co-ed business fraternity was super cool. It's had some of the smartest people I still have ever met. All like just top-notch business students at the University of Arizona. It was great. So you can walk away with a lot if you put the time and effort into it. If you go there with a sad face and think it's all negative, like, you're gonna have a bad time. But I mean, shoot, the benefits far outweigh, and like, it was so fun. Like, God, yeah. Oh no, I still think back, and I'm washed now.
What's the most crazy memory you have from your fraternity days or
that's
parties?
Tough, man.
Like, when you think of like a crazy party, what's the first one that comes to mind?
When I think back to like college, like every year was did you hear that?
Yeah.
The mic. Oh, I caught my neck.
I don't know if that microphone picked that up.
Oh, it definitely did. But oh my God, when I think back on it, like, freshman year was nuts. Like, coming in just to college from a small town from the Marine Corps, it was a just mind fuck. Like, oh my God, there's so many people my age, just losing their minds, having fun. It was a lawless place. Beautiful. I think when I look back on it, my senior year, I had a party at the house I was living at, and I put a giant water slide in the back. I paid for it myself. It was like $400, and it was something that I thought about just a long time. I had a big backyard house, and I was just like, you know what, screw it. Like $300 was a lot back then, but I was like, you know what, fuck it. I'm gonna put this water slide in the back of my house, and I just told everybody about it, and I posted about it, and it was a massive party. It was great. We had a keg. We had people jumping off the roof onto this water slide. There's a cool picture of me just on the roof popping a champagne bottle, and then I jump off onto the slide. And
was it like an inflatable type of slide thing?
Oh yeah, it was this. It was like almost a jumping castle, but a slide. Like it had just this huge. It was a water slide too, so we got all the girls in bikinis. It was beautiful, and we had just this giant slide, and then there was like kind of a little pool area at the bottom. But it was a steep slide, so people were catching it. Like my buddy broke his finger. It
really
blew back, and we had to take care of that. We had my other friend like landed on his head, and like he had to lay down for a little bit, and then it was just rowdy. We were jumping all around, and that's just a great memory from senior year. Honestly, it was right before graduation, and I'm so glad I spent the money and I did that.
Yeah.
Because I remember thinking like, oh, I'm about to graduate. I had my job locked in, but I was ready to get hit with all the bills and everything, and I was like, fuck, maybe I just lay low until graduation. But no, I was like, let's blow it out. And I wish, I went super hard in college, but I wish I went harder even now. Like. Yeah. Because it's a time period where you can just do whatever you want.
Honestly, I feel like...
I mean, don't take my... be good, but you can live with like no... I'll shut up.
But. You had a good life, and you had a good life in college.
Yeah, it was beautiful. Yeah.
I mean, that's probably the only reason I wish I would have gone to college is for the connections.
I did not go for my education. You can quote me on that. Ooh, I had no idea what I wanted to do for the first 2 years in college.
That's a big thing. Like when I first went, so I went to college for about 8 months. The first 6 months I went to get my EMT certification, and then after that I just went for general. I just went to community college, though I didn't go to any university. But even with that, I didn't even know what I wanted to do until even like 2 years ago. Yeah. I didn't know I wanted to be an actor until 2 years ago. Yeah. I loved business. But I didn't know I wanted to pursue business.
And you're not alone, honestly, dude. Like it's your 20s are meant for experimentation and exploring. I really believe. I think I finally found my thing with film, and it took a lot of trying other things.
Yeah.
Business, which I do still like business, and I see myself, crunching numbers and doing my. That's the thing. I don't want to work for anyone. I want to work for myself.
Oh yeah.
But. Tried the Marine Corps. Thought I was, oh dude, there was a point in my life where I thought the Marine Corps was gonna be like whole career, whole life.
Yeah.
That was definitely not it. But it's all about just doing something,
right?
And then you'll figure it out. Like give yourself time. There's no rush. I say that even though I live every day as if I'm running out of time and I'm gonna die tomorrow. I have like
terrible at all.
I mean, you do have to check yourself on it.
Yeah.
Like, trust me, I put myself in such a time crunch, and it gets things done. And it is the way I like to live. I like to live under, pressure because I think I work better. But don't give yourself too much,
No, that's one of the big things that I've been learning lately is like you do have to like. I don't know. I see a lot of frugal people that are like entrepreneurs and stuff, but they're so frugal that like it's extreme cheapskates and all that. Where's your fun in life, though?
Oh, I know people that make 3 times as much as me. In the end, we live like the same lifestyle.
Yeah,
we live in the same area, do the same things, but you're making 3 times as much as me. Like, are you just saving for retirement? Like, I mean, if that's what you want to do, like, okay, but. Oh my gosh, money's not real.
It's a scarcity mindset. It's the whole thing of like, what if I get cut off tomorrow, and how am I going to be able to live better
Right.
tomorrow
Yeah.
than I am today with more money?
It's, dude, I know it's really tough, and it's hard to give advice because you have to like basically live in between of like, screw it, I could die tomorrow, I'm gonna spend and live good, or
Yeah.
I really need to plant this seed for 20 years in the future and watch it grow, and that's how I'm gonna be successful. There's some in between of there
I get
that I think you need to find.
I get so stuck in that little rat race though of
Mhm.
like, yes, obviously I do want to invest and save and stuff that
Yeah.
way in my 30s and 40s I can live this life I want to live.
Yeah.
But at the same time, that's never guaranteed. So it's like
Right.
it's so hard finding that
Yeah.
balance between both of those of, do I have a fucking amazing time right now,
Mhm.
or do I save it for later? That's not guaranteed.
Something that has helped me out, just breaking down your budget, paying yourself first. You're going to hear that a lot in
Yeah.
personal finance. I set an automatic transaction every 2 weeks to go into my savings, and then the rest, for bills and for me to mess around.
Yeah.
And, given the month, like, shoot, last month was Coachella. It was, all this stuff popping off. And,
Did you go to Coachella?
oh, yeah, I went to
Really?
first weekend. Yeah, super fun.
Dang.
Definitely recommend. It is hella expensive. I spent maybe $1,000.
But I mean,
But-
was it worth it?
Oh, hell yeah. It was so worth
You made
it. And so,
amazing memories.
oh,
I
yeah.
bet.
You got to find what's important to you and, like, what's going to make you comfortable with your savings, If
Yeah.
you save too much, you're not going to live life.
Right.
If you live life too much, you're not going to have a savings, but...
It's finding that little balance between like
Exactly.
what's good living life, but how can
And
you continue
find
with
what
it?
you're comfortable to save. I probably save about 30% of my pay a month.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I've heard, minimum 20, maximum 50, and I think 30 works really well for me. As my income goes up, it might change, but
Yeah.
I also base it around what am I saving for?
I was
I-
gonna ask, is there anything specific that you're saving for right
I
now?
do want to get a house. I do, but
Okay.
that's a shit show.
Yeah.
Probably not going to happen for another year or two. Interest rates have, killed the dreams. It really has.
Yeah.
Like, but no, I do really want a house in Scottsdale and make it like my home base. I really love it here in Arizona. And yeah, I think I'm at that point where the adult brain's kicking in. I'm starting to like plants and interior decorating and stuff like that. It's gonna hit you.
Oh, I'm in the same thing. I'm like, I want decorations. I want this. I
Right.
want that for my house.
You're gonna be like, oh, that looks really well in my
Yeah.
kitchen. Like, oh my god, I'm talking
I'm a
like my mom.
minimalist.
I'm my mom.
I like to consider myself a minimalist with like not having a bunch of furniture and stuff, but I also love a very aesthetically pleasing place with like nice decor and
And you
stuff.
do have to build, the area around you as a creative. That is really big.
Oh, 100%.
I invested in like my desk setup, and it has made me so much happier. Like, it's
Yeah.
unreal. Like, now I can sit in it and write for hours or edit for hours. Like, oh my god, I put like 150 hours into editing Skinwalker, and it was, it taught. I was learning as I went along, but
Right.
oh my god, like, I remember when I started my finance job, I was on like a little stool in this shitty desk in my apartment because I didn't want to spend the money on a setup, and
Yeah.
it was stupid. Like, yeah, no, you got to build your space for sure, and low key, they can be assets if you treat them well. If you treat a nice couch well, you can flip that shit. Oh yeah.
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 I know the setup I have now, I started with like a little $20 Walmart desk and stuff, and at first I thought that was good, but I was like, I just can't seem to get motivated and stuff, and I kept changing my setups to where now I'm like, I can actually sit at this desk for a little bit and actually work.
So my lower back hurts all the time. I hate sitting. I hate it. I have a standing desk I got on Amazon for about like $150.
Nice.
I got 2 monitors. I got my laptop, my work laptop, and I got a freaking like under the desk treadmill. It's so sick. It's so sick.
Oh, I'm
dude.
gonna get one of those so bad.
I feel like a hamster just running the rat race every day, but like it's so fun, dude. And my coworkers, they laugh at me. I'll be in like meetings at 9 a.m. and like I'll go to the gym early in the morning and then walk on the little desk treadmill for like 30 minutes, and I'll be in the meeting just sweating and like I'm slightly moving in the camera frame, and they're just like, "What the hell is going on?"
I love that. Hell yeah, man! I love that.
Yeah.
Well, I've taken up too much of your time today.
Oh no, you haven't. This has been great.
Appreciate you coming on. Obviously, there's still so much to get into, and I'm hoping at some point down the line I'll be able to have you back on again. We can kind of dive a little bit deeper into stuff. It is coming up on time though, so I'm glad we did get to kind of talk about this and
of course, yeah,
unveil some stuff that a lot of people do find to be a little uncomfortable sometimes, like finances and all that other kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So I definitely appreciate you being that vulnerable and willing to kind of discuss things.
Yeah, thank you, Alex. This has been fun. I hope people can walk away with something.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you're in your 20s. Don't worry about it, honestly.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm not worried about it.
Is there anything that you want to shout out?
Shout out City Boys LLC. Give me a follow, you guys. Hope to make some...
What's the handle?
It's at cityboys.llc on Instagram. I'll give you my business card. But we're going to be cranking out as much content as we can, trying to make some cool stuff. Short films, clips, photography... DJ edits, events. We had an event at the Phoenicia with a DJ.
Yeah.
And, that was great. Definitely want to get more into that. But, just doing more fun stuff and, letting creatives get the stuff out of their head because it's got to come out.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and shout out my parents. Talked about them.
Parents.
Shout out my girlfriend, Haley. Shout out my cameraman, Jeremy, my boys. Thanks again.
Yeah, of course. And then this is kind of a newer thing that I'm doing on the podcast, but it's kind of like my outro type of thing. So what you say is, hi, my name is your full name, and then I've been unmasked. So could we get that from you real quick?
Sure. Hi, I'm Ben Gaun, and I've been unmasked.
Awesome. Well, thank you again, Ben. I appreciate you being on the show.
Of course.
Awesome.